Hey, what's up guys, it's HoodManiac360, and today, by the time the video you're currently watching first came out, today is the 20th anniversary of the day Shrek came out. And in celebration of 20 years of Shrek, I'm going to be reviewing the first Shrek film. So let's get this started. So it's no secret that the Shrek franchise is loved by millions. In fact, it became a pretty big meme a few years ago. But does the film hold up? I would say it does, yeah. So for those of you who never saw Shrek, first of all, what the hell is wrong with you? Second of all, that's why I'm here. So the film starts off with it introducing us to our main character, Shrek. He is an ogre who lives in a swamp and everyone is afraid of him. Hell, in the first couple of minutes, he scares away a mob trying to kill him. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is probably almost like a fairy tale, kind of, because you got the ogre, and you got the villagers trying to kill the ogre. Well, that's because it's based off of a bunch of different fairy tales. You got the Gingerbread Man, the Three Little Pigs, Pinocchio, and a bunch of others. So what's going on is those fairy tale characters are getting banned from a certain kingdom, and one talking donkey, whom, by the way, actually is named Donkey, so that's what I'm going to call him, he made his way into the swamp and he met Shrek. He wanted to stay with Shrek because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. At first, Shrek is hesitant, but after constant begging from Donkey, Shrek finally agrees, but for only one night, and he has to sleep outside. Now, remember when I said that the fairy tale characters were being banned from a certain kingdom? Well, those characters show up at Shrek's swamp, and we get this meme.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Shrek asks them why they're there, and they say that their king, Lord Farquaad, yes, you heard that right, told them to get the fuck out of his kingdom. And Shrek wants them out, so he wants to go to Lord Farquaad's to tell him to get him out of there, but he doesn't know where he is. So Donkey agrees to take him there because he knows. And apparently he's the only one that isn't afraid of Shrek. And they go on their way, and now we meet Lord Farquaad. And he's short. I'm sorry, but this guy is supposed to be the villain of the film, but he's not threatening at all. But he is hilarious, so I'll give him that. Alright, so his plan is to become a full king, and he's told to marry a princess. And he chooses a princess named Princess Fiona. But she's locked in a tall tower guarded by a dragon. So he has his knights fight each other, and whoever wins gets to save her. But Shrek and Donkey show up, and Lord Farquaad takes one look at Shrek, and changes the challenge to whoever kills Shrek will save the princess. But Shrek and Donkey actually defeat all of them. And Shrek tells them about the fairy tale characters and how he wants them gone. So Lord Farquaad makes a deal with Shrek that him and Donkey would go save the princess and bring her back to him in exchange for his swamp back. He accepts and they take off. When they get there, Shrek puts on a knight's helmet and then they encounter the dragon, and Shrek gets tossed to where the princess is and Donkey is stuck with the dragon. And he's trying to act all nice so it won't kill him. But then he finds out that the dragon is actually a girl, and him acting all nice to her ends up making her fall in love with Donkey. And what's strange is that this thing that the dragon has for Donkey continues later. So meanwhile with Shrek, he wakes up the princess and gets her and Donkey out of there. When they're out, Princess Fiona makes Shrek take off his helmet, and when she sees that he's an ogre, she gets upset and they take off, but it ends up getting dark. And Princess Fiona makes Shrek build a shelter for her for the night, but there's actually a reason behind it, and I'll get to it in a minute. The next day they continue on their way, and as the film goes on, Shrek and Fiona end up learning more about each other. Fiona learns that just because Shrek is an ogre doesn't mean he's a bad guy, and Shrek learns that Fiona actually isn't a stuck-up bitch. And they feel an attraction to each other, despite trying to hide it. And it eventually gets late again, and Fiona goes into hiding again. Later that night, however, Donkey goes into her shelter and sees an ogre that looks like Princess Fiona. But turns out a witch put a curse on her when she was a kid, where every night she would turn into an ogre. So her parents locked her away in a tower, and apparently the only way to fix this is by having her true love's first kiss. Yep, this really is a fairy tale, isn't it? Shrek overheard them talking and thought they were saying bad things about him, when in actuality they were saying bad things about her. So he goes to Lord Farquaad and he tells him that he has the princess in a shelter nearby. They get there early the next morning, and Lord Farquaad takes her, arranges their wedding for the night, gives Shrek his swamp back, and leaves. Shrek and Donkey go on their separate ways for a little while until Donkey returns, and they have a fight about what happened, and Donkey tells Shrek about what they were really talking about, but without mentioning that Fiona can turn into an ogre overnight. Shrek plans on confessing to her, but he doesn't have a ride, so Donkey calls the dragon. Turns out when they were separated, Donkey met up with the dragon again, and now they're dating. Alright. When they get there, Shrek enters the church and confesses. Then before Fiona can make up her mind, the sun goes down, and she turns into an ogre right in front of Shrek, Lord Farquaad, and everyone else there. Shrek finds this a bit arousing, but Lord Farquaad finds this disgusting, and calls his guards to take them both away. But then the dragon breaks in and fucking eats Lord Farquaad. Then Shrek and Fiona have their first kiss, but she stays an ogre and is planned to stay like that for the rest of her life. And Shrek tells Fiona that she's beautiful just the way she is. And they get married, and they live happily ever after, for now. And that's the end of the film. Overall, Shrek holds up pretty well. The story is great, the characters are great, and I don't really have any issues with it. So yeah, I'm going to give Shrek a 9.5 out of 10. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what you want me to review in the future. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my other channels, links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Later! Those characters show up at Shrek's Swamp, and we get this meme.
Pee pee poop.